Hey guys, Lunar here, welcome to episode 38 of the Fallout Settlement Guide. Today we're not going to be going over a raider camp or anything like that, we're not going to build one, because I want to talk about something else quickly. We can start the raider camp at any time, most likely in the next episode. I know I always say that for episodes and then never make them, but it definitely will be built, and we'll talk about it more. But just now, I still want to go over a bit of the 1.4 update, because in the last episode we found that the duplication glitch doesn't work anymore for your shipments. The glitch for your workshop and making your settlement size smaller does still work. But I did find out, just after I finished the last episode, that the vendor glitch for getting free items, which I was hoping to get shipments, it's not a very quick way of getting materials, but it's still free, that also has been patched, so we can't do that either. So what I want to do in this episode was go over some different ways of getting materials, and I think the best way to do that would be to do scavenging stations. And we're going to go over how exactly the scavenging stations kind of work and how it all works in with the workshop. But I think that's a good way of getting stuff, because if we take a look at the workshop already, I do have quite a lot of materials. Okay, so if we go right down, especially wood and the steel, look, I have 36,000 steel. So I'm not going to need anything like that or wood for quite a while, because I'm not planning to make any mega builds in the near future. Something like Sanctuary here, that was well over 100,000 wood and steel each. But I'm not planning to build anything on that scale. But what I do plan to build is just regular settlements. We will still go past the build limit, but it's not going to be anywhere near that amount. So we've got a good start for the materials that we need. And doing the scavenging stations is going to give us some extra stuff. It will just give you loads and loads of random junk that you can break down. All this kind of stuff. You know, I think it's just random the way that works. We'll go into it in a second. And you can break all that stuff down in the menu. On top of doing the scavenging stations, we also get caps from all of our stores. The amount you get is surprisingly little, to be honest. But you also get caps from scavenging as well. I don't know the exact number, I think it's just random. But you do get caps from doing that. So the way I think it's going to work, if we take a look at my map, okay, we set up supply lines. It looks like I don't have a lot of supply lines at the minute. But that's only because the supply lines kind of were broken. And so I had to disconnect all the ones I had. Especially this one to Red Rocket. Okay, I don't have... There's someone who goes on a supply run all the way to this one here, which is coastal cottages. But they're not showing up on the map. But I see them walking. And if I get rid of all the people from there, or it says I have one person there, but they never show up. So I had a problem with loads of different settlements. And the one from Abernathy Farm kept disconnecting with Sanctuary, I think it was at the time. So I've had loads of problems with different supply runs. But what I plan to do is connect them all to the Starlight Drive-In. Now before, I planned to make this some kind of arena or something. I have started building that, but you guys haven't seen it yet. What I plan to do now is, I think we will make this kind of a central hub for scavenging. And we will still have all the supply lines going there, but I will change the way that it's built, because I wasn't really happy with the way it turned out anyway, and I will be happy to change it. So we kind of have three ways that we can build. We'll have the money that we get from vendors and scavenging, which we can use to buy shipments. We have all the stuff that we've already got in our workshop, which I have used by duplicating, and we will also have all the stuff that we get from our scavenging, which we can break down for materials. Okay, you're not going to get a lot of stuff, but you will still get some. What I think we will do now is I'm going to cover what exactly happens when you scavenge, because it's not exactly the same as sharing all of your materials on the workbench. So we take a look at the workbench, okay? And we go down to something like copper. So let me find copper. You can see from copper, we've got 5,847 copper. But if we go into our menu and we start building something like this light bulb, you can see we've got 5,905 copper, and that's because we've got supply lines and all of the materials from all the different settlements are shared with each other. And obviously, I do most of my duplicating here at Sanctuary, and some of the other settlements, they've got maybe a few hundred. Especially Abernathy Farm has a few hundred, and the other ones have like 5 or 10, maybe, resources at each. So, you know, it all kind of adds up. But what happens with other stuff, okay? If we take a look at the workbench again, you can see that there's loads of weapons here. Okay, there's all these random ones. But if I were to go to any other settlement, none of the weapons that are in here would show up on those workbenches. And that's because for some reason, they've made the workbenches only share materials that you use for building and nothing else. So in a sense, all of the junk that you get from a settlement when you scavenge is only going into that one workbench, and you have to go to each individual settlement to pick up all of your junk. And so when it comes to breaking it down, you know, that can be quite annoying and time consuming. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to have maybe 1 or 2 settlements that are dedicated to scavenging, and we'll just see how much stuff we get, because I've never actually set up any scavenging before. I did once, but it didn't really work out, because I wanted to assign, that was in Sanctuary, and I wanted to assign the people to something else. But if we go to the Starlight Drive-In, we can assign most people to scavenging. We will still have some crops, because the whole plan with having like Abernathy Farm just set up as crops and people could share, it doesn't work out for happiness. Okay, so if other settlements have to get resources from another settlement through supply lines, happiness is affected and it goes down. And I don't want the settlements to be too unhappy. So guys, I know we didn't really cover anything in this one. I just wanted to explain a little bit how we're planning to make some materials just because we don't have any way of duplicating them anymore. And I think the scavenging stations are definitely the way to go. They don't give you stuff that you kind of need for building, but they give you everything else. And you might occasionally get something good, like steel or wood or something. I don't think you'll get it that often. But what we can do is use any money we get from stores to buy shipments. And if you don't have any materials already duplicated, then you're probably going to struggle to build anything good. Unless you're on the PC. Okay guys, so in the next episode, I think we definitely will start building our raider camp. I want to wait until we get bone, but I found 54 pieces of bone in this chest. So we'll have enough to build. And hopefully after that we'll get some bone from the scavenging. So we'll do the raider camp. It will probably be more than one episode because I'm just going to build it as we go. I'm not going to build it and then showcase it. Then after that we can start building the Starlight Drive-In and focusing on our scavenging stations. Alright guys, as always, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye guys.